There is a moment in every man's life when things do not go according to plan. Effort does not bring results. Plans begin to collapse. Certainty disappears. And in that moment, most people do something instinctive. They panic. But a wise man thinks differently. He understands something that most people learn too late. When everything is falling apart around you, your greatest advantage is how you think within you. I remember a time in my life when everything I had built seemed to unravel at once. A business deal failed unexpectedly. A trusted relationship became uncertain. And the direction I believed was stable suddenly felt fragile. At first, I reacted like anyone else would. I tried to fix everything at once. I replayed mistakes in my mind. I searched for someone or something to blame. But none of that created clarity. It only created noise. That is when I learned the first lesson of wisdom in chaos. A confused mind cannot solve a complicated problem. So instead of acting quickly, I stopped. Not out of fear, but out of intention. Most people believe action is always the solution. But when everything is unstable, reaction becomes the problem. A wise man creates space before response. Because in that space, emotions settle and perspective returns. There is something important to understand about difficult moments. They do not only test your plans, they reveal your patterns. Do you react with fear or observe with patience? Do you blame or take responsibility? Do you escape or confront reality? These patterns decide whether chaos breaks you or builds you. During that difficult period, I began to change how I approached problems. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" I asked, "What requires my attention right now?" This small shift brought focus. Because when everything feels overwhelming, it is usually because you are trying to solve everything at once. Wisdom is the ability to reduce complexity, to identify what matters most, and address it step by step. Another lesson came from understanding control. When things fall apart, there are always two categories: what you can control and what you cannot. Most people spend their energy fighting what they cannot change. A wise man does the opposite. He accepts what is outside his control without resistance. And then he focuses completely on what remains within his influence. His actions, his attitude, his decisions. That is where stability begins. There is also a quiet strength in acceptance. Acceptance is often misunderstood as giving up, but it is not. It is the recognition of reality without emotional distortion. When you accept the situation clearly, you stop wasting energy denying it, and that energy becomes available for solutions. I learned this deeply when I had to walk away from something I'd invested years into. Holding on would have felt easier emotionally, but it would have delayed growth. Letting go required clarity, and clarity required honesty. A wise man is not attached to outcomes. He is committed to progress. Another way wise men think in chaos is through time. They understand that the moment you are in is temporary. Even the most difficult situations change. But if you react impulsively, you create consequences that outlast the problem itself. So instead of asking, "How do I escape this quickly?" they ask, "What response will I respect in the future?" That question changes everything. There is also something important about perspective. When everything falls apart, your vision narrows. You begin to see only problems, only risks, only uncertainty. But wisdom expands perspective. It reminds you that every challenge carries information. Every failure carries direction. Every difficult moment carries an opportunity to grow in ways comfort never allows. This does not mean pain disappears. You still feel disappointment. You still experience doubt. You still face uncertainty. But you do not allow those feelings to control your decisions. That is the difference. Over time, I realized that calm thinking in chaos is not a natural trait. It is a practiced discipline. It is built through small moments. Choosing patience over reaction. Choosing clarity over confusion. Choosing responsibility over blame. Each time you do this, you strengthen your ability to remain steady. And eventually, you reach a point where difficult situations no longer feel like threats. They feel like tests. Tests of your awareness. Tests of your discipline. Tests of your character. And instead of fearing them, you begin to trust yourself within them. So if you find yourself in a moment where everything feels uncertain, do not rush to escape it. Pause. Observe. Simplify. Focus on what you can control. And respond with intention, not emotion. Because when everything around you is unstable, your mind becomes your foundation. And if that foundation remains strong, nothing that falls apart outside of you can truly break you.